All right, so a lot of people on the internet talk about how changing your friends and changing your environment plays a big part in your success and your growth as a person. Now, there's something I've heard for a while. A lot of people talk about it within self development on the internet about your circle being an average of the five people you hang around with, kind of those kind of quotes. And I knew they were true already. Always knew they were true from my experiences as a youth and being the age I am now, being around old friends and people who aren't necessarily good for you and reinforce bad habits and your environment. I always kind of knew this as a child, as a lot of my friends kind of came from the lower income areas in my town, and I was kind of would say I was kind of middle class, luckily, blessed, obviously, but I could see the difference between kind of how I'd been raised and the opportunities I had and what I'd been exposed to versus what some of my friends who were less fortunate in terms of economically where they were within my town, what their parents did, and where they lived. Now, this is something you can obviously observe within yourself or however you've grown up or what kind of environment you're in. But obviously, this is something definitely you can change. Now, it's something I kind of under didn't value as much or see the influence in my life until very recently. So recently, I work from home 24/7, 7 times a week. So I don't really get out anymore. So I'm in my bedroom, as you can see, and I hardly get out of the house anymore. But I worked really hard for this job, and I kind of locked in last year, and that's a story within itself. But obviously, these are the fruits of my hard work, and I kind of got what I wanted. But the payoff was that I'm hardly out around people socially in an office, for example. Now, what I wanted to get at is last year I was surrounded by, I made a lot of new friends and I made the effort to do that. Now, it's not hard. You really need to push yourself and do it into places where you may feel uncomfortable, but it's really the only way. I see a lot of people online who want to make new friends, and it's very hard, but you really need to focus on yourself, be a person of value, someone wants to be friends with, and then be really sociable and be socially adept at the same time. So it is hard, but this is something I did do, and I did gain new friends, and I did gain influential and very kind of the type of friends I wanted. So basically, what I'm saying is, when people say, the average of the five people you're around, the statement is really true, and it will really improve your life, the people you hang around with. And I didn't realize this until very recently, being in a different environment, in my room all day compared to how I was last year, going out and networking a lot, and the big impact it had on me. And now that I've come back to my house and work in my bedroom a lot, I can see how old habits are kind of coming back in. So I would say, and this is an example of how it kind of affected me. So a couple of years ago, I met a friend in Tanzania, and he eventually came to the UK to study at Oxford. And I obviously introduced him to the UK. I used to take him out and obviously kind of gave him a welcome when he came here, and he really appreciated that. And I went to go see him a lot at his time during Oxford. He used to take me around the university, let me meet his friends in his class, and join in the social activities there at Oxford University. Now, this was really eye-opening in terms of how hard people in Oxford study, as well as seeing where all the privileged people in this country go and understanding how they move and how they work. That's for another video. But when I was exposed to this, it rubbed off me in a big way. As well as obviously being friends with someone who was very studious and very intellectual and very motivated in their life, as well as being at Oxford. So the combination of these two things really rubbed off me in terms of how hard I was working to get the job I currently have, and just overall how I changed as a person and grew. So this is a really big example I look back on now and thinking, wow, this really was a result of who I was rubbing shoulders with. And obviously being at Oxford, me seeing the brilliant architecture, all the history there, and seeing how hard people from all around the world work, it really rubbed off on me to understand how the other side, how hard they do work. Obviously, you get people of privilege who go to university at Oxford and don't really do that much and get through. And I spoke to quite a few students there about that, but the majority of people go there too who've worked hard to get there. They're working 24 hours a day. I mean, very intensely. These people, very educated, speak multiple languages, well informed in politics, philosophy, religion, and this is kind of just a standard, and they may not be even been studying any of those things. So, and this is something I'm not used to, even being coming from a middle class background and having parents who've studied and kind of push themselves and come out of surpass their kind of their class where they've come from. I wasn't exposed to this level of intellectualism, if that's a word, this level of dedication, this level of diversity, which I saw at Oxford, and it really rubbed off on me. So the main thing I'm getting out of this video is don't undermine how much a changing environment can affect who you are as a person and your habits, and this could be in a positive or negative way. So this is what I was really getting at, something I wanted to touch on, because I work from home a lot at the moment and I can see a lot of my bad habits coming back in, coming like my complacency. And I just wanted to highlight this for anyone who's trying to build their life, change their friend group, or needs help with kind of the change to growth as a person. Don't undermine environment, and don't undermine the friends you're hanging around, because they will have a great impact on you, whether they're good or bad people. And finally, and my advice to anyone would be to, obviously, if you work from home or if you're just within your town, get out, travel to the nearest city as much as possible. London's near me. I try to go as much as possible to keep me inspired and motivated. That's a big one. And going on holiday, I touched on in another video I made. But don't underestimate the impact of your environment and how people around you can have a big influence on you. Yeah, and like and subscribe. I've got 14 subscribers now. So if you took anything from this video you enjoyed, like and subscribe. And I'm looking to make more videos and do a bit more on this channel in terms of getting out and recording stuff in public and having conversations with people. So if you kind of connect with some of the stuff I'm saying, like and comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Good luck.